So all this, you know what your projected harvest is over the next, let's call it several weeks or many weeks.
Yeah.
Are they all sold?
Basically is.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll focus, and Douwe's gonna be focused back on the chefs. We sold a lot of shrimp to chefs here in the Dallas-Fort Worth market, Italian chef. And so he was part of the, get in here, Douwe.
So what you're saying is you already have revenue. Today, already, you have revenue.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
we will have, not today.
Well, you said you
This is
sold.
Sunday.
Friday, on Friday.
Sunday, your day off, today's Saturday.
What we talked about, if you look at it, Bill talks about 300,000 to 500,000 in sales. We'll be in that area. We're not gonna get out and say exactly what it is. We know we have a $250,000 contract with him. We have a lot of chefs we're gonna go back into working, seed the market with them. We've been out of that market for 2 years or so. So we sort of need to prove ourselves again. And then in the middle of that, we're gonna be talking to some major retailers that we'll talk about later, but we're not talking about now, but later.
Just knowing things are in the works for all the shareholders.
Oh,
To know that things are there.
We would never be sitting in this room doing what we're doing if we aren't moving forward.
Well, I get that,
100%.
I get that. I'm just kinda half speaking for everybody. We know you guys have got a plan and we're all behind you.
Yeah.
At least I am, I don't know about everybody else.
Yeah, the
Okay.
plan has turned out better than we could ever thought. I mean, you can talk about your experience. I had told Douwe a couple of years ago, actually, when we first brought him on, and he was introduced to me through one of our partner chefs, Michael Scott. And Michael Scott had been with us, president of the Master Chef Culinary Society, all kinds of stuff. They competed internationally, and anyway, he told me we needed to talk to Douwe, and I hired him. Within a few months, our building burns down. So my question is, what I do with a chef? But all along, I know, the plan was as we ramp this up, we're always gonna have these dog and pony shows, whether it's at LD Microcap Conference, it's gonna be major conferences. We already know where we're scheduling a huge conference in March. They're wanting us to go on a European tour, and so Douwe got out there with us. And I told him, I said, you're gonna spend a lot of time on these conferences. Now I think you realize that, don't you? You can tell me
Yes,
about
yeah,
your.
those are the big boys, I'm telling you, it was a really great experience, it was fun to do. And then being around all these capital investors, I mean, just being around them and listening to Bill and to Gerald and, what they do and what the plans are and what's going on, it's amazing to be part of that. I'm looking forward to doing a lot more, and from what I understand, there's gonna be a lot more.
Can you mention any names of the chefs that,
Well, Michael Scott's one of them, you mentioned with, Michael Scott is pretty big, he has a bar, steakhouse kind of restaurant with a theme, he does a lot of live music, but he has a butchery as well. So we're gonna be working on a plan, organizing kind of like a shrimp fest, so we'll do out dishes out of his restaurant with shrimp, and all of his followers from his restaurant really, which are a lot, I mean, he's getting ready to expand. We're gonna offer a one-day sell-off, so we'll just have hundreds of pounds come in, people can come in and also buy the shrimp per pound as well. That's one option we're gonna have. I'm working with a CEO right now, I'm not gonna mention the name of the country club, they have 4 country clubs in Houston. Looks like they're gonna be representing our shrimp. I'm working with a chef in New York and with a chef from North Carolina, so I'm trying to spread it out a little bit. And there's multiple chefs from Dallas as well. So we're just picking right now what the best options are gonna be for us to start out with chefs. That will work with me and work with us with NaturalShrimp to grow and to evolve into more.
When you look at the shrimp market, I mean, we're just scratching right now. And so the beauty of where we are today is be able to work with the specific targets, customer base, but we'll be working with the big retailer. Within 30 days, and by the end of the year, we're gonna have some pretty big names in our facilities. And talking about 2022. And they're, we already know that, who they are. It's just, we're finishing up all the construction. We're probably, I guess we're 3 or 4 months behind schedule up there at least. I said that before.
at Lacoste or?
Webster City. Webster City. And that's one reason Marco jumped in as general manager up there to help make all that happen. He spent 70–80% of his time up there now. And, the whole idea, we got a lot of people working, you know, the COVID thing, it created a lot of supply problems for us on the equipment side. It's just everybody behind the 8 ball on it. But we're on a positive move, 100% supported by the financial community. We're off the races. Yeah, it's gonna be a great 2022. When you think about it, in a 2-year window from the time the building burned down, should be in 100% production in both areas, and maybe breaking ground in San Antonio, and hopefully getting ready to break ground in Florida, if not soon thereafter.
That would be the second plant, in San,
Yeah, and that'll be about 80,000 square feet,
as opposed to.
What's the existing?
as opposed to 40.
What's the possibility of any new technologies improving your, or decreasing the growth period or increasing your survival rate?
Well, we've got a lot of testing we're doing. We're actually working with 2 different hatcheries today, and that's about as far as I can go. But we do.
I thought I'd try again. That's all.
Our business plan is built for around 24 weeks.
Yep.
And we're very confident we've cut that probably off, you know, by at least 25%. So, yeah, we want to
And
continue
you're-
working.
But you're not done trying to improve that.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you for agreeing to do all this, but
Yes.
just to let you, in this room, there are 20 million shares
Yeah.
plus of NaturalShrimp.
I want to show you
Always
also.
So,
So we know the cell short group, you know, the. came
Oh,
out
yes,
in,
yeah.
We do. Golden Panda from, you know, Bulgaria. Isn't that crazy? I mean, it's, you know, you sit back and, okay, you can say that's the trouble, when we first started, you know, in the
Well, I
public
want
market.
to add on to that. I can't remember which shareholder it was. Was it you that mentioned? He researched them as well, Gene, and he found out that Gold Panda, he has multiple shares in other aquaculture companies, but not in ours.
yeah, I think that was,
No, that was, who was it? I can't remember. Oh, that right there, sorry. Alan. Yes.
Well, you know, it's just part of the game.
Sorry, Alan.
You know, we know that the shorts were getting killed. And so, you know, we know that, you know, he and the rest of the shorters are out there trying to recover probably. Yeah, and so we hope their nose bleeds more.
I mean, it affects you more than me in the sense that I'm holding long.
Yep.
They're not getting my shares, so they can play all the games they want, but sooner or later, they'll
Well,
get.
that's the reason to move up in NASDAQ.
Yeah.
Get out of that. There's always gonna be shorters, but
Yeah.
it'll cost you a lot more to go that route.
And you think that's
Once
gonna
we're up,
happen organically?
It's gonna happen.
Good try, Gene. Good try.
But
He's very good at
everybody,
keeping short-lived.
I will say this, everybody's gonna be very happy if we did it. With the funds that we met out at, there was around 600 people supposed to be in there, it was packed. Bill and I spent one all day Tuesday with 9 meetings in Tuesday, every 30 minutes we had a meeting, you know. But these were analysts and also funds, but a lot of them can't touch us until we go up on NASDAQ. All of them.
So once uplisted, just strap the seatbelt on and put on the racing harness. 'Cause
Well,
we're
it's not
going.
only by LD Micro, since LD Micro, constantly getting emails, I'm forwarding to Gerald, all these capital investors that are knocking on our door right now, and they're all like, hey,
We have a
You know,
specific
it's-
direction, we have a plan with it, and you guys will be happy to hear, and, it's soon. But on top of that, we'll be pushing towards the NASDAQ, you know, as soon as we can. But it's not nothing happens overnight, but,
Sure,
beauty
sure
is
does.
we're-
Our shrimp gets bigger every night.
Well, the beauty for us is we're not gonna be acquiring any more technologies. We got all the technology.
Right.
We got a tremendous engineering team over here with Tom. It includes Bill Gilmore, Tom, there's 3 engineers at Hydrogenesis, in our guys. So now, all of a sudden, I told him the other day, I said, man, all of a sudden, now you, instead of you've got a team of about 4 or 5 really high-quality people to improve what we've got.
Are you already seeking out like licensing your technology with other groups instead of?
There's discussions.
Yeah.
Always discussions. Obviously, we're not gonna be able to cover the world. Our technology covers finfish. We don't, hey, I'm not gonna be here. You know, Marco might last, but I mean, but you know, the point is it's just such a massive market. Our platform technologies is what the term, you know, investment bankers say, will allow us to change indoor aquaculture worldwide, including other species. Yeah.
It works, great, that's neat.
So how concerned are you over theft of your technology?
Well, it's always part of the game. You gotta
Yeah.
figure. That's the reason we're not going into China anytime soon.
Exactly, exactly.
When we go, one of my best friends, when we go, was President of Tyson Foods. And when they went over there and built their first building, manufacturing facility, they did a joint venture with the Chinese government. That's the best way to go. So, you know, there's gonna be people out there trying. We have new patents we're gonna be filing.
Perfect.
And, yeah, that's a big part of our future, is that continually improving our technology and applying for patents on the improvements.
Do you have a 5-10-year plan as far as moving northwest,
I hope it's not a
northeast?
10-year.
I don't know what your plan is,
No,
because
no.
obviously your
You
plans are
know,
south and.
this is so massive, we're gonna get so much. Yeah, I grew up in Northwest Arkansas, so I happen to know all the Tysons people are dead. A lot of them have died and moved on because they got no friends. But there's lots of opportunities for protein suppliers to align themselves with us in some form or fashion. We don't know what that's gonna look like. We've had lots of different discussions, but yeah, I mean, our initial focus will be over the next 2 years, you know, and primarily over next year, getting Florida up, whatever the joint ventures we see, the capital we're gonna try to raise when we uplift will give us the ability to go buy any other barrel blue we wanna find.
I like that idea.
Yeah, with a 15, you said about a 15-hour live
That's a
window
average window,
logistically.
yeah.
So, I mean, do you guys have, I don't recall you saying having a logistic team or.
Yeah, so there's a team, for example, which is sitting in both, you know, Coste, we're setting up now. I'm off, after these meetings, I'm off to Iowa to make this happen, right?
Okay.
So there are 2 ways we're doing this. These days, if you logistically control it, you're fine. So 15-hour window period, we've got a team harvesting, all right? We bring down the temperature of the shrimp, we go into sleep, we pack them, it's a unique, I will explain to you later how we pack them. Then there's a driver, dedicated driver, that's, for example, going to Minneapolis or Chicago, all right? His job is only to deliver the product on time, it gets shipped out to New York and Boston. They're already used to this happening, the clients, right? They pick it up 5 in the morning, by 9 o'clock it's sold.
One of the things he did at Barrel Blue, you know, of course, that's the Barrel Monday company we bought, right? And they spent $109 million on it, we bought it for 10. One of the things he did, he was working with them up there, and the reason I met him is because he was working with the guys up there, and he turned into live distribution of about $100,000 a month of Barrel Monday from virtually nothing.
Yeah.
So he had it going, but you know, when you had so much money invested in it, that wasn't enough to justify continuing operations. They went ahead and shut it down. But he moved them up to $100,000 a month just in Barrel Monday.
Yeah.
And live.
Yeah, and that was a much more complicated system, right? You can't hibernate a fish, so you had to literally have toads and oxygen and dedicated drivers and backup drivers and drive through snow to get to New York, deliver them live on time, and then, you know, take them off and drive back, and then you go again. So this is much easier. It also allows us to open up the doors for delivering directly to your house. Can you imagine receiving your box of shrimp? Right? So we're setting up logistics and a team to do that, but it's not as complicated as it seems, right? So, it's much easier than selling live fish.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty-